Hello everyone and welcome to my, once again, a little late NPL Miners Season 2, this time Week 2. We are facing Mind Warrior and the New Jersey Jumpluffs this time. And yeah, I think this time we can just get right into it. Yeah. So I lead with Superior because it has a pretty good matchup against everything besides Entei, because I'm running the Mirror Coat Kova Berry for the Tornadus. Now I know that neither a Fire Punch nor a Flamethrower will KO unless he's like specs or banned, depending on like whether he's physical or special. And he actually overprotects and goes for the Psychic, and I learned that he is Scarfed because, otherwise he would not be able to outspeed. So that would be nice knowledge to have, but he ends up actually just staying in and letting this thing die to another Leaf Storm, and gives me the Spadef boost, which is pretty nice. So now that that is dead, turn 2, he is going to go into the Tornadus T. And it was actually a roll to whether I could live a Hurricane here, but he could have also just gone for U-turn. I'm not sure if that would have killed or not. I think it really just depends on what set he is, and like I didn't want to risk the roll either. And then also Hurricane could miss. There were just too many variables where this scenario would not go the way I wanted it to. So my best play was saving this, switching into Lantern, because this thing outspeeds like a lot of his team, especially mainly the Diancie. That's the big thing. So I do want to save this. I just go straight into Lantern here. Speed a little bit. So he does go for the Hurricane, and it actually does miss, meaning I would have revealed my Mirror Coat tech, which I guess it wouldn't be a huge deal, but yeah, still, I'm in a better position this way. I go straight for the Toxic. It hurts anything that comes in. The DNC is not Mega Evolved. It was a no-risk play, and I end up getting a nice Toxic on that Seismitoad. So I go straight out into my Hydreigon here, just because Superior is already low and it's a more obvious switch than Hydreigon is. Hydreigon can still get some nice damage on this thing without being too obvious, because he could have gone into Entei predicting that very easily, or the Tornti. And with a Scarf, Draco Meteor, this thing, Hydreigon works well against those as well if they wanted to switch in. So, but yeah, he is just going to swap out the Seismitoad into the Chestnut. I overpredict here and go for the Flash Cannon, hoping he would go into the Diancie, because in my eyes he really didn't have a Draco switch in. This Chestnut would not have appreciated the Draco if I had gone for it. So yeah, just overprediction on my part, not a huge deal. He goes straight for the fighting type move, as I thought he would. This is pretty big actually. So when I was in on Hydreigon, I knew he would go for a fighting move. I didn't want to Draco this thing just because he would get all his health back from Drain Punch basically. So I had a pretty safe switch into Clefable, and he ends up having Poison Jab, which really does not do very much, as you saw. He gets the useless poison as well. But I overpredict again. You see, the best thing he has for this is Entei, or maybe like a Sludge Wave or Sludge Bomb Tornadus, if it gets that. I think it does. Yeah, it does. So yeah, either way, like, either of those coming in, it would have been nice to paralyze it. But I actually end up paralyzing this, which, a pair is a pair, so, you can't complain, but I can complain, and you'll see why later in the match, as that ends up being a pretty huge deficit for me. Not deficit, but you know what I mean. So I just go for the Wish. I'm on fairly low HP here, so, just gotta play safe. He really doesn't have much for this besides the Entei, and so I gotta keep this thing around. Moonblast from DNT does quite a lot to me, but with leftovers, I am still getting more health than I'm losing. He gets the special attack drop, which sucks, but doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So. I believe, yeah, here I just go for the protect, trying to get some more leftovers recovery and all that. So he goes straight into Entei on the protect. Good play on his part. I'm going to go for the protect again, just to kind of, if he's banded, I get to see what he wants to go for, and of course I get the leftovers recovery as well. He actually ends up over-predicting and going for the Will-O-Wisp, but his over-prediction is not going to cost him since I just went for the protect. Here he over-predicts yet again and goes for the Bulldoze, and I'm just going to Thunder Wave this thing, which is very nice. So I believe here, yes, I am just going to go for the Wish and kind of gauge a Sacred Fire, but it crits, which really sucks because, like I said, he really didn't have anything for this. And also, I'm aware that the Iron Head was a risk there, that he could have gone for that, but I do not believe that would have killed either. And also, just the fact that he had not gone for it in those 2 turns made me think he didn't have it. So, yeah, I felt pretty safe wishing there, and a very unfortunate crit is going to put me on the back pedal this game. I go into Hydreigon just because I can get some nice damage off with Draco Meteor. I didn't really want to go into Lantern just yet because I am saving that. Didn't really want to go into Imbor. Both of those are my win cons. A Draco is going to hurt basically anything on this team, and so that's why I predict him to want to switch out. Wanting with Sacred Fire being not very effective, of course, and also my Wish incoming. So I go for the U-turn, predicting him to switch out, and he actually does not. So now I have to go into something to take this Sacred Fire. I really didn't want Lantern taking damage. I figured Imbor was the best thing to come in, but wow, that Sacred Fire does a lot. But I am able to get the Wish back up here, and he's not going to want to stay in, as I predict that and go for a substitute. So I mis-EV'd this Imbor. I gave it the wrong HP stat. I'm a sub-Salic Imbor, and I of course wanted the Salic to activate at 25%, not at 1%, but that's the way this is looking to go. I'm Power Up Punch, Sub-Salic, and I'm able to just kind of stall this thing out with Toxic Turns and Power Up Punches, and subs, of course. I am still going to go ahead and activate my Salic Berry. I know there's an Entei with Extreme Speed. I know there's a Chestnut with possibly Spiky Shield. But Entei could be paired, and I could predict around the Spiky Shield. But another mis-EV I did on this Imbor was I meant to put it 1 speed above Tornado's T when I'm at +1, but I accidentally made it a speed tie, which may or may not have mattered here, as you will see. I'm able to get one more Power-Up Punch on this Seismitoad and finish it off. I'm now at +2 attack and +1 speed, which would normally look pretty good, but I feel like he has a lot to be able to deal with this. So he actually does go into the Tornadus, which I found surprising. I thought Entei would be a better switch there, but basically I think he is actually scarfed. I really have no way of knowing for sure. But yeah, either he wins a speed tie here or he was scarfed. So yeah, that sucks, but you know, that's just how it's going to go. I am going to be able to get the momentum here because, you know, he's going to go into something first and I can counter that. Yeah, I really don't have much left for this Chestnut because my Skarmory is running Ironhead over Brave Bird for the DNC. I have HP Fire on Superior, but you know, that's kind of meh, especially when this thing seems especially defensive, as you'll see from this Draco. And remember when I said I didn't want to Draco this because he would just get all his health back from Drain Punch? Yeah, that happened. But I really didn't have much else of a choice there. I needed something to do good damage to that. And this also means that the next time that situation comes, he will not be gaining very much from the Drain Punch because I'm already at so low health. Okay, a lot has happened here. So he went into DNC and I was in Skarmory. So I have the Iron Head. I figured he would predict that and go into Entei. So I go into Lantern because even if he does stay in, it should be able to deal with DNC pretty well. But you know, 41% is kind of a lot, especially for something I am saving to try to win this game, like as a win con. So I go back into Skarmory, and this time he will go into Entei as I go for the Iron Head. I'm just getting played here. He's making excellent switches, excellent plays. And yeah, this is going to be a tough game for sure. So I go into Superior here just to sack it off. I felt like it was the least useful of all the things I had, just because, you know, Entei killed it, Tornadus killed it. I mean, that's half his team that's left at this point, and I feel like I could deal with the DNC and the Chestnut with the other Pokemon I had. Well, not necessarily. Like, Superior would have been nice for the Chestnut for sure, but I couldn't sack anything besides that or Hydreigon. And Hydreigon's also does good damage to the Chestnut, so yeah. So here, let's turn this on fast now. Here's where I start going for my only chance to win this game at this point. Stockpile Lantern. Now here's where the Para also really comes into play. If I had not overpredicted there, predicted the Entei, I would have been able to Toxic this thing and stall it out. But now I can't do that. I have to try to scald this thing down, which is going to be a pain. He does get parried, which is nice for me. So that parry is coming in useful, sort of. Toxic would have still been far, far better, but you know, it is allowing me to get some scalds off. So basically, now it just comes down to if I get crits. If I don't, I win the game, and if I do, I lose. So, very exhilarating battle here. But you know, I'm doing what I have to do to win. I really don't regret doing this, but it is kind of stally for sure. So here he does go into the Entei. I think just trying to change something up, realizing that this is not working, but Bulldoze with Shucker Berry is going to do 0. And I'm able to just scald this thing and end up at like a decent amount of health actually. And this Chestnut is very whittled, and he gets parried again, so I'm able to keep whittling this thing down. It's actually looking good for me to maybe be able to win this. He gets parried again, so I'm able to go for another Scald. Now here, it's very interesting, because we've had some Scalds do 8%, and the majority of them do 7%. So I figure it's our role to kill here, which really messed me up. Like, the obvious play here is to Scald, because if it kills, I'm on enough health to deal with the Diancie or the Tornadus and just rest up on them. And if it doesn't kill, I just rest up and go for it again, basically. But you know, I misplay bad here. I go for the rest, trying to play it safe. But in reality, that's the opposite of safe, because it's just giving me more chances to be crit. So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like, there was a lot going on while this battle was happening. You know, I had a lot of family and a lot of friends over, and it was very distracting. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be using excuses. I played badly. I misplayed. It was my fault, and you know, I may or may not take the consequences here. Let's see if I get crit. So, I actually do not get crit here, but I do the same thing again. Basically, my logic was, like, I wanted to be on good health for the Diancie or the Tornadus, but I really didn't need to be, because, like, I can still take hits from them easily and just rest up. So it was very faulty logic on my part, but I wanted to be on good health, so what I was trying to do was wait for him to get parried, so he would not be able to go for a Seed Bomb, and I would be on more health. So yeah, like, I had some logic there to my actions, but it was very faulty logic. And as you'll see, I do get crit here, and my faulty logic is going to bite me in the butt. I am able to get the Iron Head off on this thing, but after that, it is game over as this thing comes in and just sweeps me with Heat Waves. You know, the burn for insult to injury. I still argue that the crit on Clef mattered a lot, but the crit on Lantern, definitely, like, I was basically begging for it. You know, it was completely my fault for the crit on Lantern, but still, getting both your major walls and win conditions crit in one battle is very sucky. And Missy being another possible win condition in Impor, also very sucky. But I don't think that one mattered in the end, because I do believe he was scarfed and couldn't just kill me no matter what. So, but yeah, that is the game. I lose 2-0, and that is my second loss in a row. And with only 7 weeks, I am in a very, very bad position considering playoffs. I do not have much time to catch up, and I can really only afford one more loss, because if I get 2 more losses, I'm like, there is no way for me to go positive in the win-loss. If I get 2 more losses, I am 3-4 at max, and you know, there's no way I'm making playoffs on like a negative win-loss ratio, so I can really only afford one more loss here, and I'm very backed into a corner here. So I've really got to prep and play my best next week. I will be facing Blake, Moxie Infernape, and he is taking over for, what's the team? Birth Island Bidoof. Yes, that is right. So yeah, until then, I will see you guys next time.